Welcome everyone, welcome to the Pipin Hot Ranch deep in the Black Hills of South Dakota. I'm just making the finishing touches here to some Carolina Reaper hot sauce, and I'm just going to talk you through the last part here where what I'm going to do is tell you some of the things that are in here, and then I'm going to start bottling it so that I can send it to everyone, and so you can all do tasting notes for me and send them in and see how you like it. I don't know if you can see this pan of bubbling volcanic Reaper sauce here, bubbling away. I'm making this, you might be able to see, in my garage. I would make it outside, but it's a bit windy today, so I'm making it in the garage. But you need to make it in a very well ventilated space. If you don't, you will not be able to breathe. I actually grew these Carolina Reaper chilies myself this year in my backyard. So what's in here apart from Carolina Reaper chilies? So there's a little bit of onion in here, there's some Reaper chilies, there's some cayenne chilies which I also grew in my backyard, there's some green bell peppers, surprise, which I also grew in my backyard as well. There's some red chilies, just Fresno chilies. They're not hot chilies, they're nothing like the Reapers are on the Scoville scale, but it helps to give it a bit of colour. And there's some salt, some pepper, some garlic, some ginger, a bit of paprika, not that you need any warmth in here, some cumin, some tomato, some homegrown basil, fresh basil, some cider vinegar, some sugar, a little bit of sugar, some applesauce, and a little bit of magic, Scottish magic. So it's been boiling away here and reducing for some time, so I'm going to turn the heat off from under it because it's splashing me and burning holes in my skin. I'm only kidding, it's not that hot. But I'm going to turn it off now and then start to bottle it. So making hot sauce is not the same as baking a cake. Although I do have the actual amounts of all of these ingredients that I've told you that are in here, but I'm not going to tell you what the amounts are. But it's not the same as baking. You can be a bit more experimental with things like this. If you play around with a baking recipe, then you're going to have a disaster. But you can play around with hot sauce. You can make it more sort of vinegary, which is a bit more like sort of Tabasco sauce. This one is a kind of tomato based sauce, so it's a bit richer, a bit more, has a bit more depth to it, and the spices give it a bit more complexity. Aiveen's Alchemy, I think you could say. So trial by fire, they say, so I suppose I should give it a little bit of a taster to see how it's doing. So I'm putting the heat off now from underneath. Yeah, I'm just using a little camp stove out here, which is perfect for cooking this kind of thing. And when I lived in Scotland, I was a community cook, so I did a lot of camp stove cooking as for demonstrations, for cooking demonstrations. So as a taster, all I'm doing is putting a tiny little bit. It's like the wetted back of a teaspoon into a bowl here. And I'll actually just use the back of a teaspoon to put some on it. There's hardly any on there. We're just going to have trial by fire and see what it tastes like. That has a beautiful kick. I suppose you could pull your tongue out and get a Bunsen burner and run it over the top of it, and that would give you a little bit of a insight into how hot that is. It's pretty damn hot, and it also has a lovely depth to it. So you can taste all of those flavours that I mentioned, all the spices, and actually I think that you can actually detect the different kinds of peppers that are in there as well. I think it's really lovely. So let's start looking at bottling it up. You don't want to get it on your hands, because if you accidentally rub your eyes, then you'll be a very sorry person. So what we're going to do is, all of these bottles are sterilised. Everything here is sterilised, so including the funnel. So I'm just going to start filling the bottles. These are 5 ounce rosy bottles, they're called. Just enough to give, well, I suppose it's a wee bit like the size of a Tabasco bottle. And it's just dripping through there. I'm not going to fill all of the bottles, I'm only just going to demonstrate filling 1 or 2 of them, because the video would be too long and it would bore you to bits. So just carefully fill it. I don't know if you can see it coming through there. Can you see that? It's just dripping through. This is quite a thick sauce. You could filter it and make it take any of the bits out of it. But if you're having sauce that's this hot, why would you want to dilute it in any sense? If you've got a appetite for sauce that's this hot, you'll take it with everything that's in it. So then just bring it up to the neck of the bottle. Don't fill it too full, because then when it expands, or if it expands in the bottle, and I'm going to boil these bottles, put a lid on them and boil the bottles. So you also have, just for you, a little stopper to put on there, so that you can get a splash of it rather than a dollop of it, and that you can be more in control about how much just comes onto your plate. And then we get the lid nice and tight on there, and it's a nice hot bottle. And in the house I have a big huge pan of boiling water, and I'm going to boil these up for a good 5 minutes or so, to make sure that they're all absolutely sterile and sealed, properly sealed. And then I'm going to put foil seal around the outside and label them and send them to you, and hopefully you'll enjoy it and you'll let me know just what you think. Thank you very much. Bye.